All right. Well, we have a surgical person who's just been brought in, and it looks like he has some kind of a leg wound. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take our ether cone and we're going to take our chloroform, and we're going to put a little chloroform in the top of the ether cone, and it's going to turn from a liquid on this side to gas on this side. And we're going to anesthetize the patient. Now, as we anesthetize the patient, what we need to do here is we need to hold it about a half an inch to an inch away from the patient, because chloroform is extremely caustic and we don't want to burn the face of the patient. Now, this should take roughly about 5 minutes to do, but we're going to speed this up, and we're going to assume that our patient is at this point under. And the way we're going to check our patient is we're going to listen to his breathing. And this is a period stethoscope. It's a monaural stethoscope. It's one ear. And his breathing seems to be pretty good. I'm going to cover his face while we work on him, just in case he does wake up a little bit. And if he does start to wake up, we're going to give him a little bit more chloroform. Okay? Now, the next part of the operation is going to be on the other end. Now, we've moved to the other end, and basically what we're going to do is we're going to see what happened here. It looks like it's probably a spent bullet. That means it was at the end of its trajectory. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use my best probe to see if there is something in this wound, and that means I'm going to stick my finger in it. I'm going to worm around a little bit, and it feels like there's something in there. So I'm going to expand the wound area, and I'm going to cut a little. Ugh. 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 Okay. Now I've got a sizable hole. Once I expand that, then I'm going to take my bullet extractor. Now, sometimes they get stuck in the muscle. So I'm going to get under the bandage here, and I'm going to see if I can get that bullet. Ugh. Ugh. Ah. Ugh. Ah, there it is. Now, that's a 57.7 caliber bullet, which means it's about an ounce of lead. And when you're shooting an ounce of lead, it makes a fairly big hole. At this point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back over and I'm going to grab my lint. And lint is cotton thread, and that's what we stuff the hole with to absorb anything that might be coming out of that wound, potentially before we see any pus. So I'm going to grab that for a moment. Got my lint now, and I'm going to take a sizable piece of lint. This one's fairly clean. We do wash this stuff out. And I'm going to kind of wad it up, and I'm going to place it in the wound just like this. And once I've done that, then the next step that I'm going to take is I'm going to put a bandage on that. Now, this bandage, as you can see, it's pretty well been washed out, so we can reuse them. There's nothing wrong with that. So I'm going to wrap the leg loosely, and once the leg is wrapped, then we'll wake up the patient, and that means I'm going to come up to the patient. I'm going to slap the patient until this patient wakes up. I'm probably going to give him a little bit of opium and alcohol. That will assist in easing the pain. I could put a topical morphine sulfate in there, but probably the opium and the alcohol, because it wasn't a terribly deep wound into the flesh, probably will do. And that's the major process for working on this leg. Thank you.